let's get stuck in to a Brewdog Punk IPA. Bitter beers for happy people. That's what's on my glass. Well, hello there, perfect drafters. How you doing? Are you good? Good. I know I didn't do a review last week. Apologies for that. I didn't do one. But what am I going to do here? So there's been a beautiful keg release just this week and I wanted to get this video out here. So it isn't this. I'm going to have to put off the pleasure of Bud yet again. So that's to come. I just can't wait for it, that Bud. Anyway, what a week. What a week, people, because we got a new keg. It's a new one. Yes, it is. And it's only Brewdog. Who saw that coming? Probably a few people. Maybe. But personally, I didn't. I might have had some people saying, look, Baldy, Brewdog's coming. You don't know whether to believe them or not. Because people might say that thinking, you know, he's going to believe that. He's going to get all excited. And I would have done. I should have been. Because it's on there. And it's not really the first release. It's not really the Punk IPA that I'm that excited about. I like it. I'd have it in a pub. I've had it before. I know people say, look, it's not as good as what it was when it first came out. People can say that. That's fair enough. It's up to them to say it. And it probably isn't. You know, I've not had the original and then the one that you get now and literally blind tasted them. Tested and tasted. I've not done that. You know, it's not changed that much, has it? Really? Has it really? I don't know. Anyway, I still reckon it's a decent IPA. And I want to see, because it's meant to be very fresh. That's what we've been told. It's meant to be as fresh as on this little beauty. Yeah. I'm excited about getting a Brewdog on my perfect draft. I just am. And like I say, not necessarily just because it's the Punk IPA. That is a guarantee, isn't it? If they're going to start off with one of them, that's going to be the keg that they're going to do. But what could come? I mean, you're probably not going to get some of the more, you know, fancy jobbos, the verses. You know, that you're not going to get that. You're not going to get Cloudwater versus Brewdog. You're not going to get it because it's not mass produced in the way that the Punk IPA is. But some of the little belters, I'm not a massive Elvis Juice fan, but I'd have it. You know, I quite miss High Wire on the Perfect Draft and Elvis Juice on there. That might be a nice little tipple, yeah? But if Hazy Jane comes on this, hey, I don't care how much you're going to charge me. I'm having it. Well, I do. Let's be realistic. But I tell you, I'm having that. If Hazy Jane comes on that, whoo! That's like every Christmas come at once. That's what that would be. Anyway, I like the fact that Brewdog has come over to this, and I didn't see it coming for one reason, and that was because it used to be on the sub. So it was a limited edition on the old sub when it was on there, yes. And, you know, it probably wasn't around for that long. But I was a bit disappointed when I got a sub, and all of a sudden, no Brewdog on there. So maybe plans were afoot with the transition to the perfect draft at that point. So this, as they say themselves, is the beer that started it all for Brewdog. Now, you know, love them or hate them or loathe them or really aspire to be like them or whatever you want to be, right? People have now got an opinion on Brewdog. Personally, if I like the beer, I'll have it. Now, I don't like the fact, obviously, if they treat employees badly, that's bad news, innit? But it does get you when people say, oh, I don't want to have a Brewdog because they treat their employees badly. I'd rather have it in Wetherspoons. Now, the other controversial fact, the other great big walloping elephant in the room was the price on the little baby. £41.90. Not a cheap one. That ain't a cheap keg. You know, with your keg returnage and your discounts and stuff like that, it's probably around $3.40 a pint, something like that. So yes, you probably can get it cheaper in spoons. But look, that is convenience personified. That's what it is. At home, on your own draft machine, in your own kitchen, in your own pub if you've got one, wherever you are, you've got it on tap, you've got it to hand. Yeah, that's not that bad. And you can pay a lot more. You know, let's face it, not everyone just likes to drink in spoons. So apparently bursts of caramel tropical fruit, a riot is what they're telling me, of grapefruit and pineapple, and lychee. They apparently all precede a spikadiddle finish. I've got some snackage. Pretty excited about this snackage as well. I've saved this snackage for the next big keg, and that is this one. I'm happy with the snackage. I reckon it's going to be a belter. I'm excited. Let's have a look at the keg. Let's do the pour. Let's bring her in. Let's have the snack. Let's rate them. Let's go, people. So there she blows. A Brewdog Punk IPA. Who thought would get that on the Perfect Draft? It's exciting times. Standard kind of branding. You know, I quite like the Brewdog branding. It's quite funk. Fiercely defiant and independent. Brewdog Punk IPA. Let's get the pour in, people. Okay, here we go, people. I've only got half a, haven't I? That's all I've got. Half a pint. Never mind, I'll have two of them. There we go. Let's get the pour in. Alright, hello. Come on, cheeky. Alright, little, what's that drib? Bit of a drib there. Anyway, look at that. Look at him. Right, let's bring her in. So there she blows. Look at that. Look at her. Yeah? So I'm having a look for some bubs. I'm not really seeing any. That's fair enough though. It doesn't need them. It really doesn't. Lovely looking colour. Lovely white head. Not a bub in sight. Let's taste her. We've got a Brewdog. Right. Here we go. Got to give it a little tippy toppy too. That was a lively tippy toppy too. Right. The first pour is always a bit of a lively one. If this is one of the first kind of perfect draft videos that you're looking at and you're thinking, that guy cannot pull a pint for love nor money, your first one is a bit of a lively one. And I know people have said, Baldy, just pour a bit out into a different glass, then go for your main pour in your video. Don't want to fake it. Don't want to fake that first little sip. And I know I could put that by the side. I could do that. I just don't. Right, let's get stuck in to a Brewdog Punk IPA. Bitter beers for happy people. That's what's on my glass. What I'm going to say to you though, people, is cheers. Let's give it a go. If I was Dougie, the cartoon character much loved by kids, what I would say now is, woof. That's good. That does taste fresh. I mean, the grapefruit, that hits you, definitely. Not so much the caramel. But definite grapefruit there. Yeah, there's a kind of tropical taste to it. The citrusy, tropical taste of an IPA. Now, I've had quite a lot of lagers recently. And I've been looking forward to an IPA. So I was just happy that any IPA came out. But let's face it, you've got to compare to what's on there. You've got to do that. So if you are comparing to what's on there, you've got to think of J-Pour, you've got to think of Crew Republic, you've got to think of the Goose, you've got to think of them beauties. And they are beauties. They are belters. You've also got to think of the La Virgin 360, which is also an absolute belter. Do like me IPAs, but those kegs that I've just named there, I think are amongst the best on this machine. The Crew Republic, if you saw my Top Trumps video, I rated as number 1. The Goose IPA, before Crew Republic came out, I rated as my number 1. The J-Pour, I think I'd give that an 8. I liked it. And the Thornbridge Brewery, you know, I mean, they really, I mean, I know Brewdog have, you know, exploded, literally exploded onto the scene. And they've come out with some belters. They have. They've come out with some absolute stinkers as well. They have. But they do innovate when it comes to the beer. So, you know, they almost innovate as well when it comes to actually trying to be a funky looking business and a, you know, a business of the people. I know it's gone a bit wrong recently. But look, comparing to those, I'm going to have another sip. It is up there with them. It's up there with them, but it hasn't got the smoothness of the Goose. Looking at it, it's a similar colour. I think Goose is a little bit darker. And I would say I enjoy the Goose a little bit more. And I enjoy the Crew Republic a bit more. That's what I'm thinking. Straight off. That's my gut instinct. That Goose and Crew Republic are just that little bit better. It almost does really cry out to be a little bit warmer. And this being in this, in the pub shed thing, has gone down to like 2 and 1 degrees. So I was just checking it there. That was when it was snowing. It's not, it's on 3. I think it could do with just being left to warm a little bit. When it comes to the J-Pour though, again, a much loved keg, and I did enjoy that. One of my very first reviews on the Perfect Draft. So it's a long time since I've had that, and I'm casting my mind way back there. It's almost on par with it. I don't want to cop out, but I'm saying I think it's almost on par with that. Yeah. If you like the J-Pour, and I know there is a whole story of, you know, Punk IPA being very much a copy of J-Pour, but that's because J-Pour was one of the first IPAs out, if not the first. It was new. It was very innovative. From a Thornbridge brewery that are probably not seen as innovative as Brewdog, ironically now. But, you know, it's got some clingage to the glass. It's looking good. Although there's no bubs in there, and I mean, it's not a nucleated glass and stuff like that. You don't need it with an IPA. Although that's not the case, there is quite a carbonation feel in the mouth with this beer. It's definitely fresh though. It is fresh. It's nice. I think it's every bit as good as a Punk IPA I've had in a pub. Every bit. I'm happy with it. I'd have it again. I definitely would. Right, I've compared it to some IPAs there. What about against the 360? Ooh, that's a tricky one, peeps. That is a tricky little belter. Because I did like that 360, and that is a cheaper keg. That's a challenge. I'll tell you. I think it just edges it, but only just. Anyway, before I give it a mark, I'm going to get stuck in to some snackage. Now then. I am genuinely very excited about this little belter. If you've watched my videos before, I bang on, and I'm sorry for banging on, about Max Strong Jalapeno and Cheddar crisps. They're, to me, one of the absolute top tier crisps, if not the top tier. Yes, they're challenged by a Thai sweet chili sensations. Anyway, it's not about crisps. Now these, Max Strong, they've still got on there, perfect with beer. And we're talking about my favourite flavour, people. We're talking about the jalapeno and cheese. We're talking double coated peanuts, and they're the Max Strong ones. The picture on the bag makes me think these are going to be good. And I know it's made to look like that, but look at the crispy outer to that nut. Right, on the back, what blurbage have we got? Walker's Max Strong double coated peanuts, the irresistible peanut packed with bold crunch and flavour, perfect with beer, enjoy the ultimate taste experience in every bite. Max spice, max satisfaction. That's what we're looking at. We're looking at a 175 gram bag. I can't remember how much they were, but they're in my hand right now. I'm cracking in. Excited. Right, I'm going to have a snifty. Snifty, snifty, snoo of you. Getting more nut than jalapeno and cheese. That's the way it is. At first glance, they're looking like Nobby's nuts. I've got a palm full of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nuts. A palm full of 8 nuts. Not too much coating left on the hand. Do you have 8 nuts at once? No, 7 because I dropped one. Let's get them all in. 8 nuts, is that too many? I'll tell you what, I think let's go for 4. I'm going to go for 2 lots of 4. Crunchy. Right. Right, I'm going to give them a shake. Right. Got a 3er. Right. Maybe my expectations were too high. Maybe they were just way up there. And the nuts, in the end of the day. I prefer a crisp over a nut. Do I? Yes, I do. I'm not saying the bad. I'm not saying the bad. But I think it was my expectations that I was flying away with that. I was virtually giving them a 10 before I'd even opened the bag. Then they're not. They're really not. There's a lack of jalapeno. There's a lack of spiciness on them. Max spice? No, there ain't. I'm sorry, but they've let me down there. Yeah, they have. Max spice, max satisfaction. I would say... I would literally say average spice, average satisfaction. It wouldn't sell many, but that's what it is. They needed more jalapeno. They needed more spice. They're nowhere near as spicy as the crisps. And that's what you needed. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm really not saying they're bad. I mean, as far as a standard nut would be concerned, they're good. But that's it. They're not exceptional. Shame. That's a shame. Good beer snackage still. Don't get me wrong. Let's have a sup. I'm a little bit down over them. Can't win them all, people. Can't win them all. Okay. Back to the beer first. Let's go. It's got a lovely mouthfeel. It's a very good quality IPA. Simple as that. You've got your grapefruit there. You've got your citrus punch. Tropical flavours coming through. It's nice. It's nice. It is a fresh, nice punk IPA. I'm happy with that being on the Perfect Draft. Well happy. Yes, it's a bit pricey. It is. We can't hide from that fact, people. We can't. Now, unlike, I'm not going to go for a whole England-Scotland competition thing, but it didn't break the internet, did it? It did not break the Beerhawk website. That's fact. They probably had a bit more of an expectation of how many of these were going to be flying off the shelves. That said, we don't know how many kegs they got in, do we? So just by the fact that it's still there, still available as we speak, does not mean they haven't got rid of a shed load. So in terms of its kind of ABV and that, it's 5.4% standard punkage, which, you know, is less than the Goose. Goose is in at 5.9, as is the J Pour. Crew Republic, 6.4%. So maybe that's what, I'm not saying I like stronger beers, but you can feel it after a few Crew Republics. But it's so nice. It's an absolute belter of a keg. I've got myself another one in for Christmas because that's in stock as we speak. It's still the creme de la creme to me. It's better than that. And it's a couple of quid cheaper. So, yeah, because IPAs generally are a bit more. Now the Goose is £34.50. Now that is bargain-tastic. If price is your issue, and it does seem to be quite a few people's issue when it comes to this, then Goose is your one. Simple as that. If you want an IPA, you want an absolute belter, get that. If you really do love punk IPA though, spend that little bit more and have a go on it. Because to have that at home and you like it, that is quality. I mean, your Tiny Rebel Jobbos are £38.90. You know, your Pineapple Express, which has come back in, that's good. Give that a go. That's very different, to be fair. And your Club Tropica as well, which is a little bit of the Marmite of the Perfect Draft. People love it, people hate it. But again, you know, if you like that, a cracking keg. You know, £3 difference to this, though. So, it's a new one. It's a bit more expensive, but it's good. For me, it's an 8. It's getting an 8 out of 10. I'm happy with it. And I tell you, I would get that again. These, they've let me down a bit, I've got to be honest. I'm going to give them, I don't know, maybe I was too harsh. I'm going to give them a 6. I'm giving them a 6. I keep trying more, thinking I've had a few dud ones. I've had a few dud nuts. No spice. Where is your spice, man? Ain't there. That is, I tell you, that is quality. It really is. Right, that gets an 8. They get a 6. Be happy that Brewdog's on it. See what comes next. Right, for now, people, I need to go and do something with an elf. So, I better go. Have a cracking weekend. Have an absolute belter. Whatever you do, make sure it's a good one. Put up your Christmas decks. Start getting merry. Start relaxing for the festive time of year. And get a few kegs in for it. You know, if I was going to go for a Christmas selection right now, it would be a Crew Republic. It would be a Dark Arts. It would be a Stella. Right? They are my 3 kegs there that I'm recommending for a Christmas to remember. But for now, people, have a belter of a weekend. Cheers, Perfect Drafters. Cheers.